welcome back, pop fans. And I say pop fans, I presume people who are tuning into this have an interest in pops, and some might be long-term collectors, some might be new to this. To me, some people might be people who've come from my podcast. And while we say that, one thing that we discussed a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and something that I'm very conscious of, is from watching a lot of YouTube videos, is people saying please like and subscribe and put in comments. And every time I've filmed one of these, at the end of it, I go, oh God, I forgot to say that. Feel semi uncomfortable about it, because as much as I'm putting myself out there on YouTube, I don't really look kind of like that, almost the seeking people to provide me validation. But I guess why else am I doing that? So if you could, please like and subscribe. And as I say, if you're a pop fan already, then you'll know a lot of what I cover, and maybe have some of the pops I've got. So I'm interested to kind of hear from you in the comments to see what you're collecting, and also whether there's anything you kind of see along the way that you're interested in doing a trade for or anything like that. And if you're new to pop collecting, or just here because you wonder what the hell are we doing and the Renaissance Men brand talking so much about these figures, hopefully you'll find a bit of love for this and you'll get that collecting bug like I have. So today we have, as ever, a cardboard stack behind me, and this cardboard stack is a mystery box. It's becoming a primary trend on here, opening up mystery boxes. Although in the coming weeks, I do, as I say, have some direct purchases from shops of specific pops. So there'll probably be a couple of videos coming up where we're just going through what I got and why. But before we go into the mystery box, I kind of like what I did in the last episode, which is keeping people up to date with pops that are coming into my collection. So things that have caught my eye, that I've picked up. Now, sometimes the pickup may be something that I've had on a wanted list, or it's something that I'm particularly interested in. However, I might have picked them up because the price is right. And there have been a few deals recently on some of the online stores of percentages off, or pops on sale. And I know the two that I'm about to show before I do this, they just come in at the right price for me. And neither of them are expensive pops. I think if you're looking for that channel that shows you the £1,000 or $1,000, because a lot of them are American pops, I'm nowhere near that yet, and probably won't ever get there. The pops that I'm picking up, unless they come in a mystery box, it tends to be there's something about them, either a connection to something from my childhood, a love of the franchise, a love of the product, or I've seen the pop and it looks cool. So first one up really does hit into that love of something from when I was from my childhood, and that love has primarily continued right the way up to now. Although, again, listening to the podcast when I show it will probably groan and go, "Oh, I hope he's not going to go on a rant." But this pop is from the Star Wars line. My Star Wars love is primarily for the original trilogy, which I have a whole lot of love for, and my two favourite characters from that were always Han Solo and Boba Fett. Now, there's a reason why specifically I picked up this, and this pop is Han Solo frozen in carbonite. It's Empire Strikes Back is my favourite of the Star Wars movies. I don't have a lot of Star Wars pops because there are a lot out there, but there are a lot that are from parts of the series that I don't really like. But this one, when I started collecting, I kind of saw it and went, do you know what? I like that. There's a weird moment in Empire Strikes Back when I watched it as a kid where I was too young to understand what carbonite was, and it was only years later when I come back to it that I kind of got the concept of it. But again, love Han Solo, love this moment, and also this pop has now been vaulted. So for those new to the pop world, which I still include myself, is pops are made and produced, but at a point, Funko may well stop making them. So in effect, at that point, you're saying all of the pops that are out there in existence, which could be hundreds to many thousands, that's it. They're not making anymore. Could the company change their mind? Of course they could, but generically, from a collector standpoint, that is, there will be no more Han Solo and carbonite. Now, I think I mentioned last episode about supply and demand. So when the supply starts to dry up, but there's still a demand for the pop, that's when the prices start to fly up. Now, will there be a demand for Han Solo and Carbonite? I don't know. I think it is an iconic movie moment, but also there are tons of Star Wars pops and there are tons of iconic movie moments. But for me, it was get this now before it potentially goes up. I'd rather overspend by a couple of quid now rather than regret it when it becomes a £100 pop at a later date. And I'm not saying it will. I don't actually think it will. However, that's why Han Solo and Carbonite become a priority, because I wanted to get him before you stop seeing him anywhere. And strange enough, the second one that I picked up was similarly a pickup due to not anything to do with vaulting, but the concept that it might be a pop that goes up in price. So it's almost purchase it now, but and don't take that risk that it flies up. And it's from a range that I think I've shown a couple of now, which initially I didn't get any of, but I think since I've started to get them, there's been a bit more attraction to them. I know they're very popular, and that attraction was something that drove us forward, and that is the Doctor Strange Blacklight pop. Now, again, not particularly expensive. I think it's generally trending around £10, which is where a lot of the Blacklight pops have fallen back to after the initial storm of them. I think the only ones that are really keeping a high value are things like the Blacklight Ghost Rider and the Blacklight Carnage. But there's a new Doctor Strange movie coming in soon, and I say soon, it is next year, but also he's going to be a featured character in the Spider-Man movie, which will drop just before Christmas, I believe. And again, I think I mentioned it when I was talking about the Fantastic Four ones. In the collecting world, and again, lesson learnt from comic book collecting world is sometimes you need to buy things at the right time, because if you don't, you might see that price hike. Now, will Doctor Strange pops and the Blacklight pop go through the roof at the release of Spider-Man Far From Home or the Doctor Strange movie? I don't know, and I don't necessarily think they will. However, if I want the pop, I probably want to get it now, because it could rise up, and I'm not entirely sure I'd want to pay the value, or just from a logic standpoint, I would have to pay a higher value in, let's say, 6 months' time. So Doctor Strange is now living in, I want to say, my Marvel collection, but to be honest, it's my Marvel Blacklight collection, because that's starting to grow relatively rapidly. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video, which is the mystery box. So this is a very different mystery box for me. I've seen things like this opened on YouTube, but this is my first time out at it. So this one isn't pop figures. I was conscious of trying to split up the pop figures ones, as much as I do like pop figures as a company. Not sponsored by them, so this isn't shilling for that, but I've just had a very good experience with them. But this is another company, and a smaller company, I think that's fair to say, but this is from Danny and Jazz. So they have a YouTube video, which I'll put in there, or YouTube site, which I'll put in the comments, which they do open a lot of pops, but actually they have an online store, and I think very much they sell through the stuff that they don't want in their collection, which seems like a really good way of doing it. But they offer out not only singular pops on their site, but mystery boxes. And so what's different about this mystery box? This is a damaged mystery box. So conceptually, you're going to get pops in here that might have some box damage. Now, box damage from a valuation side can dramatically affect it. However, I like it because it only has a mystery if you don't know what you're getting, and also you don't know what conditions it's in, but it kind of gives you the chance of getting some rarer pops. The valuation might fall down because of some damage, but a lot of part for the collecting, if it's one that I want it in my collection, so I'm not so bothered about the valuation. However, I will do valuations on them, but that will be based off of non-damaged, and I'm not good enough yet, and I haven't seen enough to kind of be able to do a grading on it. I see on some of the sites that they'll actually kind of talk about its condition out of 10. For me, it's either trashed or not trashed. But in here we have two of their mystery boxes. They do very high valuation damage ones, and I'm not really kind of in that game yet. But I have I'm looking because I had to get up on the screen here. One of them is a £15 damage mystery box, and one of them is a £25 damage mystery box. And I'm just gonna click and get some context for that. So in the £15 one, you're guaranteed a pop that is valued at the time it was boxed between £20 and £40. So in effect, you should have a pop £5 more than you spent, or up to £25 more. Of course, the damage on the box may impact that higher. And for the £25 one, it's a pop value between £35 and £45. Now, I don't really want to talk about what the hits could be, because they're all going to be within that range. But it's not a big hit. It's not that, oh, this one's worth a couple of £100. One of the things that attracted me to it is, and this will give you a heads up to my interest, because I don't think I have any of these yet. But on one of the pictures, they had a picture of a Muttley pop, and I'm a big Dick Dastardly, Muttley, and Wacky Races fan. And as I say, there's nothing to sort of say guarantee that will be in this mystery box run, but if you put Muttley on something, I'm probably going to buy it. But let's do some cutting. Look at that. That was a bit pro. I was talking and cutting at the same time without making such a rigmarole about it. But now I've drawn attention to it. Blew all that good work. So the box is open. I can't remember how Danny and Jazz package it. I don't know whether they're going to come in individual boxes. Yep, they are. So. And it looks like, to me, and I'll get the boxes out ineptly, but I'll get the boxes out, that, bless them, they've written on there £15 damage mystery, and presumably on the other one it will say £25 damage mystery. And at least it actually conveys that my memory wasn't as tut as I thought it was going to be, because I actually got the valuations right. Oddly enough, sorry, this is a bit strange, bless them. I don't know whether by accident or by design, but and good on them, they've chucked in some sunglasses. I will. Hopefully, this is kind of a freebie. Not really for me, but I will get back to them, because they might have done that by accident. And as much as I could go, woohoo, bonus something for free, I quite like using these companies, and I'd rather be honest than not. So yeah, potentially. And I just saw the price on the back of them. I don't know. I don't know how things go for, but in theory, that paid for one of the mystery boxes. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for pops. So let's do it in valuation order. So the £15 damage mystery box. So as I say, could be anything. I'm just hoping that it's something that I collect, and I'm hoping that the condition of it is relatively good. So what do we got here? Oh, so this is from Destiny. I must admit, I didn't even know that there was a Destiny pop line. Now, to the most part, I tend to find that the video game pops don't really have a lot of value, don't necessarily hold a lot of value. However, I think within that there are some lines that are rarer than the others, and some of them might be because they're old. I can see where our damage is. We do have some tears at the top, which I think would be particularly affecting of price. However, rarity may well still make that tradable. And again, I think something to talk about when you are trading pops. I think it's very key to provide good photos and be very, very honest about that sort of thing up front, because I know I would be particularly annoyed if I've been told that it was in a condition and something got sent out and it was actually quite tat. So let's see what Lord Shax comes in at. So he actually trends at 21. So again, over the value, as the mystery box says. I think the damage on this one would be quite impactful to price, and I think really you'd probably be looking at maybe half that price. So, you know, a possible loss on the box. But again, mystery boxes, that is the idea of them. There's an element of risk, and I think maybe a lesson there to go. And if you are willing to take that risk because you might get something you want or something very good, then go for it. But if not, I guess there's a lesson on all this. If you can't afford it, or if you can't afford to lose money on it, and you're not guaranteed that you're getting something you want, just don't do it. But it is fun. So the £25 one. So again, for people that know me and long-term listeners of the podcast, this is Tauriel from The Hobbit. I do not like The Hobbit. I don't like Lord of the Rings, the movie series. I don't like, especially don't like The Hobbit. I think Tauriel was the one played by Evangeline Lilly. So yeah, this won't be one that will be staying in my collection because of my general distaste for the franchise. However, considering the TPD valuation range of 35 to 45, this is currently trading at £43. So actually, from a valuation standpoint, very close to the high end. I'm looking at the box for kind of damage. Now we've got a sticker on the front. There is a slight kind of indent here, but do you know what? I think from a damage standpoint, I think if you're open and honest with the person you potentially be trading this on with, would that knock a bit off the price? Yeah, I mean, it could knock sort of a tenner plus off of it, but again, I still think from my valuation, I've probably got something that is a range that it would be quite desirable for people, so could easily go into a trade and see a bit of uptick on my valuation. So hopefully I can find someone out there who's a big Hobbit fan. I know they're out there, don't really understand why, but no, a good little pickup. And as I say, you're looking for on these boxes to find things you want, or at the very least probably find something that is in a valuation range of what you paid, if not more. One of the things to mention on valuation and collections, though, and I think I said it earlier in the video, is prices fluctuate greatly. The Pop Directory app is based off of YouTube, eBay sales, and eBay sales fluctuate, and there are a degree of fake pops out there, and on some of the more expensive lines, prices of fakes will impact that. So I'd always say be very careful if you're getting into collecting market for this purely for money side. Look not only at the valuation, but look at sales trends. Look at maybe the last 4, 5, 6, 7 sales. See how recent in time they were, and get a gauge from that, because it can quite often be inflated very quickly, especially if it's a new pop. But also it can sink quite fast. So be very careful if you're doing this just for the valuation side. But as I say, it is nice to know that you've got stuff that is in the range. So we have a couple of pops that won't stay in the collection. And again, from my first experience of Damaged Mystery boxes, that's one of my discomforts with it, is I kind of like the pristine box. I'm one of those collectors, so it is not nice to see some damage on them, but I don't think they're too badly damaged, and as I say, that's the point of it. But probably not my favorite mystery boxes yet, but let's just focus on the positive, because that's what we should do in the world. I have now got my Han Solo in Carbonite in my collection, and my Doctor Strange Blacklight. There'll be more videos on the way. There's more boxes in the house, you'll be pleased to know. So, and I think for the long-suffering other half, I think she'll be pleased to know that I'm at least opening them, because I think it can be quite frustrating to see so many unopened boxes in the house. So I'll catch up with you guys in the coming weeks, and you can see how the collection grows. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye. Thanks for watching, and just remember, you can join the Cult of Egg by liking and subscribing to this YouTube channel. We release regular content where we talk about all things geek, all things pop culture, and all things that we're interested in. You can also come along and join the discussion on Facebook groups and Renaissance Cast, and you can join us on our Twitch channel where Stu regularly streams games. And if you'd like to support us, then please follow the link for the Patreon. Thanks very much.